Alex stepped off the shuttle and looked around. The space station floated like a giant ring in space, spinning slowly. Bright lights, different species, strange smells. It was nothing like Earth. But Alex was ready. He had been accepted into the Intergalactic University, and this space station was home for the next 2 years. He carried his backpack and followed the signs. His room was in Sector C, Building 9. The place was cheap, but clean. Shared housing. He knew he'd have a roommate, but he hadn't been told the species. Room 47. He knocked once, then entered. The room was split down the middle. One side looked normal. Bed, desk, some posters. The other side was different. Hanging crystals, glowing vines, a small steam pit in the corner. And in the middle sat someone tall, thin, and purple-skinned. She looked up. Her eyes were big and silver, her hair like long black threads, 4 fingers on each hand and faint glowing lines on her arms. She blinked twice. "You must be Alex," she said in perfect standard. "Yeah. And you are?" "Zira. From the planet Kirill." Alex smiled politely. "Nice to meet you." They shook hands. Or at least tried to. Zira's fingers were soft but cool, and her grip was gentle. "You are earlier than expected," Zira said. "I was meditating." "Sorry." "No problem. I'm not offended." Alex placed his bag on the bed and looked around. "So, you've been here long?" 3 months. This is my 2nd year." Alex nodded. "Cool." They didn't talk much. After that, Zira returned to her corner, legs crossed, eyes closed. Alex unpacked his things, clothes, books, snacks from Earth. Over the next few days, they slowly learned each other's habits. Zira liked the room warm and humid. She had a soft voice, moved quietly, and only ate glowing blue cubes from a fridge drawer. She didn't sleep. In a bed, she floated in a gravity pod. Alex was messy, loved coffee, and often fell asleep watching vids on his tablet. He played music but kept the volume low. He tried not to disturb Zira. Despite their differences, things were peaceful, quiet, simple. Until one morning, Zira spoke while Alex was brushing his teeth. "My breeding cycle is approaching." Alex froze, toothbrush in his mouth. Your what?" Zira turned her head slowly. "My species breeds once every 5 cycles. The signs begin 1 week before the peak." Alex blinked. "Is this dangerous?" "For me? No. For you, maybe a little uncomfortable." Alex put down the toothbrush. "Should I be worried?" Zira thought for a moment. "No. But there are rules. During the cycle, I must remain indoors. I may become emotional, sensitive, and I will need space." Alex nodded slowly. "Okay, got it." "I will not harm you," Zira added, "but physical closeness may trigger instinctive reactions." "Okay, so no hugs?" "No hugs," she confirmed. That evening, Alex did some research on Corellian biology. Their breeding cycles were powerful and sacred. They didn't mate casually. The cycle wasn't just physical, it affected their thoughts, feelings, even their energy levels. Some entered dreamlike states. Others got aggressive if disturbed. Alex made a decision. He would be careful, respectful, and stay out of Zira's way. The first few days were fine. Zira was quieter than usual, her skin glowing faintly. She meditated longer and ate more. But on the 4th day, things changed. Alex was sitting on the couch, drinking coffee, when Zira walked into the room. Her eyes were different, brighter. She was breathing fast and her movements were sharp. "Are you okay?" Alex asked. Zira sat on the floor. "It has begun. Do you need anything?" "No, just quiet." Alex nodded and turned down the volume on his tablet. But she kept staring at him. "You are calm," she said. I try. Most beings leave when a Chiral enters this state. I'm not most beings. Zira tilted her head. Strange, but not bad. She closed her eyes and began to hum. A deep, soft sound that echoed around the room. Alex watched in silence. The humming made him feel relaxed, like waves on a shore. Later, Zira stayed in her corner, wrapped in a glowing silk cocoon. Her skin shimmered like starlight. The room temperature rose. Alex began sweating. Is it hot in here or is it just me? He joked. It is necessary, Zira said from inside her cocoon. He opened a window. Zira didn't move much for the next 2 days, but her presence filled the room. The air was heavy with scent, sweet and strange. Alex found it harder to concentrate. His dreams became weird. Colors, sounds, voices. Still, he kept his promise. He gave her space. He stayed calm. But on the 6th night, something happened. Alex was sleeping when he heard a soft cry, not loud but filled with pain. He sat up. The lights were dim. Zira's cocoon was pulsing. He got up and walked over. Zira, he whispered. No answer. Just another cry. He gently touched the edge of the cocoon. Zira opened her eyes. They were filled with tears. I'm burning, she whispered. My body is lost. Can I help? No one can help during the cycle. We survive it. Or we don't. Alex didn't move. But something inside him said, don't leave her alone. He sat beside her, not touching, just being there. He didn't speak. He just listened to her breath. After a while, her trembling slowed. Her glowing skin dimmed. She closed, her eyes again. You are not like others, she whispered. I get that a lot. And then, silence. Alex stayed there until morning. The next morning, Alex woke up on the floor beside Zira's cocoon. His back ached and his neck was stiff, but he didn't care. He looked at her quietly. The soft glow from her skin had faded a little, but she was still inside, eyes closed, body curled. He stood up slowly, trying not to make noise. He stretched and moved to the kitchen to make some coffee. The strong smell filled the air. After a few minutes, he heard her voice. Is that bitter liquid again? Alex smiled. Coffee. Want to? Try? Zira peeked out from the cocoon, her silver eyes shining in the dim light. It smells strange, but not unpleasant. Alex poured her a small cup. She took it with both hands, sniffed it, then tasted it. She made a face. It burns. Alex laughed. That means it's working. She sipped it slowly, watching him over the rim. You stayed all night. I didn't want to leave you alone. That was not necessary, but it was kind. Alex shrugged. I do what I can. They sat in silence for a while. Outside the window, the stars moved slowly. Space was always quiet, but today it felt more peaceful. Later that day, things changed again. Zira began to pace the room. Her skin glowed brighter again, and she whispered strange words in her own language. Her breathing became deeper and her steps faster. Alex noticed she kept looking at him, sometimes with curiosity, sometimes with confusion. Are you okay? He asked again. No, Zira replied honestly. The second wave is harder. Do you need food? Medicine? I need understanding. Alex put down his tablet. Okay, talk to me. Zira sat down across from him. Our breeding cycle is more than body. It opens our emotions. We remember things, feel things we buried. Alex leaned forward. Like old memories? Zira nodded. I had a mate once. He died during the Great Mist Storm. Since then, no one has stayed close during my cycles. Most fear it. They fear the fire inside me. Alex looked into her eyes. I'm not afraid. That is why I'm confused. She stood up again, walking in circles. Her voice was softer now. Your species is unusual. You are not tied to cycles or instincts, but you feel deeply. How do you control it? Alex chuckled. We don't. We mess up. We cry, laugh, shout, then we try again. Zyra paused. Maybe that's why you are strong. She stood very still. Her skin shimmered brighter and the room grew warmer. Alex felt sweat forming on his forehead. Zyra suddenly dropped to one knee. Alex jumped up. Zyra! Her voice was weak. I need cold. Without thinking, Alex helped her up and guided her to the shower pod. He pressed the emergency chill button, and cold mist sprayed into the pod. Zyra gasped, then sighed in relief. Her body relaxed under the cool steam. Thank you, she whispered. Alex waited outside, giving her privacy. His heart was racing. He was doing his best, but this was nothing like sharing a room with another human. This was something else, something bigger. That night, Alex found it hard to sleep. Zyra's humming returned, soft and echoing. It filled the room like a lullaby. He turned off the lights and stared at the ceiling. After a few minutes, Zyra spoke from across the room. Alex? Yeah? Do you feel alone? He thought for a moment. Sometimes, being in space, away from Earth, it gets lonely. So you understand. I guess I do. I'm glad we met, Zyra whispered. Alex smiled in the dark. Me too. The next day, things got even stranger. Zyra began to enter trance states. Her body floated a few inches off the ground, surrounded by a soft glow. She spoke in her native tongue, sometimes laughing, sometimes crying. Alex didn't understand the words, but he stayed close, watching her carefully. During one of these moments, Zyra opened her eyes and reached for Alex's hand. He froze. Her fingers were cold and smooth. Her skin pulsed gently. I see stars in you, she whispered. Alex didn't move. Zyra let go, blinking in confusion. I'm sorry. That was not proper. Alex shook his head. It's okay. I'm here for you. Zyra looked away. The cycle plays with the mind. It brings visions, dreams, desires, but they are not always real. Doesn't mean they aren't important. Zyra seemed surprised by his answer. You speak like an elder. I've watched a lot of space movies, Alex said with a small laugh. Zyra smiled, really smiled, for the first time. Her teeth were sharp, but her smile was kind. Later, Alex contacted the station medical center. He asked questions about Kirellian health and if there was anything he should watch for. The medical AI answered, as long as the individual is eating, resting, and not showing signs of collapse, the cycle will pass naturally. Emotional support from a trusted source can reduce risks. Alex nodded. Then I'll stay with her. Not many humans are brave enough to assist during this time, the AI said. I guess I'm different. That evening, Zyra returned from the shared bath chamber with steam rising from her shoulders. She looked calmer, more balanced. I saw you talking to the station AI, she said. Alex blinked. Yeah, just wanted to make sure you're okay. You asked questions no one else ever did. I care. Zyra nodded. And that is unexpected. They sat on the floor together, sipping tea this time. Zyra had added crushed blue petals to Alex's cup. It tasted like honey and mint. I am halfway through the cycle, she said. The worst is coming. Alex met her eyes. I'll be ready. Zyra looked at him quietly. Then she whispered, Your presence is changing me, and I don't know if it's good or dangerous. Alex smiled gently. Maybe both. That night, a soft alarm rang outside the room. A nearby section of the station had a system failure. Lights flickered. Gravity wobbled. Zyra stood instantly. We must check the vents. My species is sensitive to air change during the cycle. They moved quickly through the corridor, checking filters and systems. Other aliens rushed past, some in panic, others in confusion. Zyra touched the wall. I feel something wrong. Alex followed her lead. Working together, they reached the air regulator for their block. The system was overheating. Alex grabbed a toolkit. Let's fix it. Zyra's breeding cycle wasn't over, but for now, survival came first. And something unexpected was happening. They were becoming more than roommates. They were becoming a team. The air vents hissed as Alex tightened the last bolt. Warm steam escaped through a corner panel, then faded as the cooling system kicked in. The pressure lights turned from red to green. He sighed in relief. Zyra stood beside him, her long arms crossed over her chest. Her skin was glowing brighter than usual again, but her voice stayed calm. That was fast work. I used to fix air coolers back on Earth, Alex said with a small grin. Old habit. Zyra placed her hand gently on the wall. The energy here feels balanced again. Alex looked around. The station's gravity is stable now. We should head back before more systems glitch. Zyra nodded, but she didn't move. Instead, she looked at Alex, longer than usual. You're not like the others, she said quietly. Alex scratched his head. You've said that before. Yes, she replied, her voice soft. But now, I feel it. The hallway was empty and quiet, just the hum of the station's core and the blinking lights around them. Zyra stepped closer. Her eyes shimmered, with a strange emotion. Not confusion, not fear, but something deeper. When the cycle burns inside me, she whispered, it shows me what I lack, what I long for. And this time, I see you. Alex's breath caught in his throat. He had no words. Zyra blinked and stepped back quickly. I'm sorry. That was a mistake. No, Alex said, holding up his hand gently. It's okay, I'm just surprised. Zyra looked away. My people don't form bonds easily. We build them during cycles if the soul finds a match. It is rare. It is dangerous. Alex nodded slowly. Because feelings during this time might not be real? Yes. But if they are real, they last a lifetime. Silence filled the corridor. I care about you, Zyra, Alex said softly. But I don't want to rush anything. You're still in the middle of something intense. Zyra's eyes met his again. And still, you speak with care. Back in the room, things shifted. Zyra no longer hid inside her cocoon. She sat in the open, letting her skin breathe, her emotions visible. Alex gave her space, but stayed close. Sometimes they talked, other times they just listened to each other's breathing. Zyra began teaching Alex small phrases from her native language. She wrote them in glowing ink on the walls, words like Kethra, calm, Volan, safe, and Sereth, soul trust. Alex copied them onto a small notebook and practiced every night. One evening while eating dinner, Zyra asked, "What was your family like?" Alex smiled. Loud, kind. My mom runs a cafe back home. My dad used to fly small cargo ships. You miss them? Every day. Zyra placed her hand gently on her heart. We call that siren, the ache of home. Alex nodded. That's the perfect word. Zyra closed her eyes. I have not felt siren in many years, but now I do. Because of the cycle? Because of you. The third wave of Zyra's breeding cycle began 2 days later. It was stronger than the first two. Her glow became blinding, her voice deeper and slower. She stayed in the corner of the room, floating above the ground, surrounded by a soft, violet mist. Her body trembled, and her humming grew louder. Alex tried not to panic. Do you need water? He asked. No, she whispered. Just stay. He sat on the floor, legs crossed, just like she had shown him before. I will share a memory, she said suddenly. Alex blinked. What? Close your eyes." He obeyed. A soft warmth touched his forehead, her fingers glowing with energy. He felt a pulse. Then images filled his mind. A silver forest, a quiet lake, a smaller version of Zira laughing under twin suns, a tall male of her species standing beside her, eyes kind, hands steady. Then lightning, wind, the great mist storm, her sorrow, her loneliness, the endless silence after. Alex opened his eyes. He was crying. Zira was floating above him, her eyes glowing softly. "I didn't know," he said. "Now you do," she whispered. He stood and gently reached out, offering his hand. She took it. Their fingers touched, and something passed between them, not just warmth but understanding, connection. "You saw my truth," she said, "and I stayed." Zira lowered to the ground. Her glow faded to a soft pulse. The next day, there was a knock at the door. Alex opened it. 2 members of the station medical unit stood outside. One was human, the other a robotic assistant. "Routine check," the human said. "Corellian cycle registration showed this room as active." Zira stepped forward. "I am stable." The medic scanned her quickly. "No fever, no heartbeat spike, no signs of cycle madness. That's rare." Zira looked at Alex. The medic noticed. "Roommate assistance?" he asked. "Yes," Zira replied. "He stayed." The medic nodded. "You're lucky. Most cycles end in isolation, sometimes worse." The robot beeped. "Emotional synchronization, 82% match." Zira frowned. "That's not possible." The medic smiled. "It is rare, but it means one thing. Trust formed during a cycle has reached a stable state. You two share soul safety." Alex raised an eyebrow. "Is that good?" Zira answered. "It is very good." That night, Zira sat near the window. Stars blinked outside. "I've never reached this level with anyone," she said. Alex sat beside her. "How do you feel?" "Stronger. And calm." "Will it end soon?" "Yes, but something new is beginning." Alex looked out at the stars. Funny how something so strange can turn into something beautiful. Zira smiled. "Yes, and unexpected." They didn't speak for a while, just sat together, letting the silence speak. One more day passed. Zira's glow faded completely. Her skin cooled. Her breathing returned to normal. She slept like any other person, for the first time in days. Alex cleaned the room while she rested. He folded her robes, packed away the glowing vines, and placed her cocoon sheets in storage. The air smelled fresh again. Calm. When Zira woke up, she looked around and smiled. "You cleaned everything?" "You went through enough," Alex said. "It's the least I could do." She stood, stretched, and walked toward him. "You helped me through my most vulnerable time. And now, I want to share something." "What is it?" Zira reached under her bed and pulled out a small crystal orb. She handed it to Alex. He held it up. The orb glowed blue, then slowly changed to gold. "What does this mean?" "You are now part of my Kiralan, my chosen trust circle. It means you are family, by soul." Alex's eyes widened. "Wow." "You don't have to accept," Zira said softly. Alex grinned. "I think I already have." They both laughed. Zira tilted her head. "So, Earth coffee again?" "Only if you promise not to spit it out this time." It had been 2 peaceful days since Zira's breeding cycle ended. The air in the room was no longer heavy with energy. Zira's skin no longer glowed. Her movements were slower, calmer, more grounded. She smiled more, laughed softly, and sat. Closer to Alex when they talked, Alex was enjoying the quiet. He thought everything would return to normal now, until the alarm rang. "Wee-oh! Wee-oh!" Bright red lights flashed through the ceiling. Emergency in Sector C, power grid failure. Gravity controls unstable. Evacuate or secure position. Alex jumped to his feet. What now? Zira stood, her eyes alert. This is serious. The room vibrated under their feet as the artificial gravity system began to wobble. Items floated, off shelves, and the floor tilted slightly to the left. Alex grabbed the wall to balance himself. Come on, we have to get out of here. Zira shook her head. No, too many people will rush the escape corridors. There will be chaos. Then what do? We secure the systems ourselves. You mean, go into the station core? Zira looked at him. You fixed the air regulators during my cycle. You're good with tools, and I know the station's layout better than most. Alex stared at her. You're serious? She walked to the emergency locker and pulled out 2 space utility belts. Yes, we do this together. The power was failing fast. As they moved through the dim halls of the station, emergency lights blinked on and off. Other residents rushed past, humans, aliens, robots, all trying to reach the safe zones. Zira and Alex moved in the opposite direction, down narrow maintenance tunnels, through tight crawl spaces. Zira's body moved with precision, her memory guiding them. She led with speed and Alex followed, trusting her completely. They reached the backup control room in Sector C's core. Alex tapped on the manual screen. Systems failing one by one. Gravity will go next. Zira opened the panel on the wall. We can redirect power, but someone must reset the gravity stabilizer from inside the chamber. Alex looked at the diagram. Of course, it's always in the hardest place. It's risky, Zira said. The chamber floods with magnetic fields during reset. It can affect your body. Can it kill me? Only if you panic. Alex smirked. Well, I've lived with a glowing alien during a soul-bonding breeding season. I think I can handle a little field pressure. Zira stared at him, then placed her hand on his shoulder. If something happens to you, I will not forgive myself. I'll, come back, he said. You trusted me before. Trust me now. Inside the stabilizer chamber, the world felt strange. Alex's body tingled. His arms felt heavier, and his thoughts slowed down a little. But he moved forward. The control panel glowed red. He pulled out his tools and began his work. Outside, Zira monitored his progress. Alex, her voice came through the comms. You must be fast. The energy buildup is growing. I know, he said, sweat on his forehead. Sparks flew as he pulled out a faulty circuit. He plugged in a new one and pressed the override button. For a second, everything went black. Then, boom, the system roared back to life. Lights returned. The floor became steady again. Gravity normalized. Alex fell to his knees, breathing hard. I did it, he said. Zira's voice came softly. You did. She ran into the chamber and helped him stand. Alex looked at her. Are we safe now? Zira nodded. For now, they walked back through the tunnels slower this time. Their clothes were dirty, their hair messy, but they smiled. They had saved their block. Together. Later that night, the station held a small gathering for the volunteers. People clapped for Zira and Alex when their names were called. A few Corellians even bowed deeply to Alex, a rare sign of respect. One elder Corellian female approached Zira. You bonded during cycle, yes? Zira looked at Alex and gave a small nod. The elder smiled. You chose well, a human with fire in the heart. Alex was confused. Did she just compliment? Me or insult me? Zira laughed. Compliment. Back in their room, they both collapsed on the couch. Alex sighed. This was not what I expected when I signed up for the university. Zira chuckled. Me neither. He looked at her. So, what now? Zira looked down at her hands. Now that the cycle is over, I feel different. But the connection remains. You mean the soul bond? Yes. I don't glow anymore, but I still feel you. Here, she touched her chest. Alex nodded. Same. There was silence for a moment. Then Alex asked, "What does that mean for us?" Zira smiled. "It means we can choose, not from instinct, but from truth." Alex leaned back. "I like that." Zira stood and walked toward her corner of the room. She picked up the crystal orb she had given him before. It still glowed gold. She held it up. "This glow won't fade. It only changes color if one of us breaks the bond." Alex took the orb and stared at it. "And if we don't, it stays golden. Forever." That night, Zira sat near the window again. Alex joined her. No alarms, no glowing skin, no heavy emotions, just stars and peace. "You once told me you felt alone," Zira said. Alex nodded. "Yeah? Do you still feel that way?" Alex looked at her, then out into space. "No, not anymore." Zira rested her head on his shoulder. "I don't either." The next morning on the space station felt calm, almost peaceful. No alarms, no emergency lights, no system failures, just the soft hum of machines and the gentle buzz of distant conversations. Alex stood in the kitchen, making 2 cups of coffee. He poured one into his usual mug and the other into a small crystal cup Zira now used. She still didn't enjoy the taste much, but she liked the warmth and the ritual. Zira stepped out from her side of the room, wearing a light robe with blue embroidery. "You were up early?" she said. "Had a dream I was back on Earth. Mom was yelling because I forgot to take out the trash." Zira tilted her head. "Sounds terrifying." Alex chuckled and handed her the coffee. "You'd like my mom. She's loud but sweet." Zira sat down near the window, sipping slowly. Her silver eyes looked peaceful now. Her skin had no more glowing lines, but there was something even brighter in her smile. "It feels different now," she said. Alex sat across from her. "You mean the room?" "No. Us." He nodded. "Yeah, it does." A few days passed. Life returned to normal on the station. Classes resumed, students returned to their routines, and maintenance teams fixed the last of the broken systems. But for Alex and Zira, everything had changed quietly inside. They weren't just roommates anymore. They weren't just friends. They were something deeper, something rare. Zira no longer meditated alone. Now she invited Alex to join her. Sometimes they'd sit for hours without speaking, just feeling the silence between them. Alex learned more Corellian words. He could now say things like, "You are safe with me," and "I walk beside you." Zira helped him write a few of those phrases on the walls beside her sleeping pod. In return, Alex taught her human jokes, old Earth music, and how to bake cookies using a small heat pod. Zira didn't love the sugar, but she smiled every time he gave her one. One evening, as they sat outside in the shared garden deck, Zira looked up at the stars. Back home, our stars were silver and green. They danced when the winds blew. I miss that. Alex leaned back, on the bench. "I've never seen dancing stars. I hope to show you someday." He turned to her. "Would I survive on your planet?" "Maybe not the heat," Zira said with a grin. "But the people? Yes. They would accept you now." "Because of the soul bond?" "No, because of who you are." Alex smiled. "That means more." Zira looked at him for a long time. "When my next cycle comes, it will be many seasons from now. But I want you to be with me again. Not as a helper, but as my partner." Alex's heart beat a little faster. "You're sure?" Zira nodded. "I chose you during my fire. Now I choose you in peace." Alex looked up at the stars. "Then I guess I'll be staying here for a long time." The next week, a small ceremony was held in the cultural hall. It wasn't Big or fancy? Just a few close friends, 2 station officials, and a Corellian elder who guided the bonding ritual. Zira wore her family robe. Alex wore a simple suit borrowed from a friend. They stood side by side in front of a glowing tree, a Corellian symbol of unity. The elder held a clear orb between them, the same kind Zira had once given Alex. "Will you protect each other, in fire and in silence?" the elder asked. "Yes," they both said. "Will you walk together when the stars are bright and when they are hidden?" "Yes." The elder placed the orb in their joined hands. It glowed gold again. Then, something new. A streak of blue moved across the gold, a rare sign. The elder gasped softly. "Your bond is not only true, it is rare. It has formed across cycles." Zira looked at Alex. "It means we are balanced," Alex whispered. "I guess we're doing something right." After the ceremony, the room was quiet again. They returned home, changed clothes, and sat in their usual spots, her on the floor, him on the couch. Zira looked around the room. "We've shared this space for many weeks now. We've cried here, fought systems, faced storms." Alex looked at the wall where the glowing words were written. "And now, we've made it a home." She nodded. "Yes, a home." Later that night, as they prepared to sleep, Alex stopped and turned to her. "Zira, yes? What if I had left when your cycle started? What if I got scared and asked for a room transfer?" She smiled softly. "Then I would have faced the fire alone, and I would have never known what peace with another soul feels like." Nodded slowly. "I'm glad I stayed." "So am I." Zira floated slightly, just a few inches above the floor, her body light and calm. Her eyes glowed, not from the cycle, but from joy. She reached out her hand. Alex took it. They didn't speak again. They didn't need to. Weeks turned into months. The station welcomed a new wave of students. New roommates arrived. New stories began. But Alex and Zira became something of a legend. The human who bonded with a Corellian during her cycle. The alien who trusted a human with her soul. They were often seen together, walking side by side in the gardens, eating in the mess hall, fixing systems in the lower decks. Always close, always quiet, but always together. One day, a curious student asked Zira, "Was it hard, sharing space with a human?" Zira smiled. "At first, yes." "What changed?" She looked across the hall, where Alex was showing another alien how to use a wrench. "I stopped seeing him as different," she said, "and started seeing him as mine." And so, in a giant spinning city of metal and stars, 2 beings from different worlds made a small home. Not by force, not by accident, but by choice, by patience, and by something completely unexpected, love.